call him by his old handle, Tire Man, Rooster. So yeah, but I don't feel right in taking that from him until I figure out or either fix or figure out what's going on with his Browning, which I have over here, which is slated next in the slot for taking a look at. AA3RE.
That's right. I almost forgot all about that. Yeah. All right. Well, you know, you'll just have to swap them. The two-piece unit for one stick. There you go. That would make you feel better. Him too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we kind of knew this antenna was on its way out. And I guess with the rain and everything else, who knows? Extra power. There's no more power than I normally run, but it decided to give it up. So there I am.
I'm kind of glad it did, but now I know you'll fix it. I used to, I watched your video gates and I watched your S meter there and up, down, up, down. I used to laugh at it, yeah. Well, I don't know. That's been quite a while, too.
Yeah, it has been a while, and it's so annoying. So if you think it's annoying for you to watch, imagine what it's like here.
Well, no, that would, I would only tolerate that for a little bit. Then it has to be taken care of. That kind of nonsense drives me absolutely bananas.
I would have fired up my Johnson kilowatt into that thing and played a couple of records till it caught on fire.
Yeah, that's probably not wouldn't have been a bad idea. Yeah, well, you know, I kind of put up for it for, for hobbyist reasons. I got I got other things I need to worry about and spend money on. I'm gonna get all out of this antenna that I can until I can't, because it's not money I want to spend or something I want to be bothered with or deal with. Kind of till I'm forced to deal with it, and then I got no choice in the matter. So I'm the epitome of the cheap ham. If there's a way for me to get away and do something, for no cost or low cost, even if it means some extra labor, that's the route I'm taking. I'm not just going to spend money for spending money's sake. I just don't do it.
I'm glad there are some cheap hams left. Love you too very much.
How do you like Wayne's tuner? That looks pretty good, doesn't it? We didn't meet your goal of zero cost, but I think, less than $5 is pretty admirable.
Yeah, I can look the other way for $5, yes.
We put out a 100 watts AM carrier on 80 meters, and we were able to contact CVJ on his 80 meter stick.
Oh, there you go. But tonight, we can't contact CVJ.
He went looking for us on 80 and 160, and his antenna won't tune here. I think it will, but he says it don't. But I find that hard to believe.
Well, you can always give him a 10-meter ham stick and throw up there. He can change it out.
And you know what? I have a 10-meter ham stick. Maybe that's what I need to do.
He needs a horizontal antenna.
Yeah, I mean, I know he could sneak a 10-meter dipole up there somewhere.
So Steve's 80-meter antenna tunes up here, huh? Or is he using the tuner?
Well, it's a 160 dipole fed with coax, and that's what he's using. He tuned it up here with his roller inductor MFJ tuner.
Oh, all right. Well, then if he went over to balanced line, that would be a whole nother world. So there's room for improvement. Very good.
I made that exact statement you just said to him. I said, well as it's working now, you feed it with balanced feeders, it's going to work even better. But the fact that it's working well enough for him now is the whole idea was, to get him interested. And I think we've accomplished that goal.
Yeah, well, he's got a lobe in this direction, obviously, so if he's got a lobe in my direction from where he is, chances are he's got a good lobe into Europe, too, on this fan, right here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, now that he's got a taste of it and a liking of it, we've got to just encourage him to keep it up and join us here on the AM fun in the mornings on 29 megahertz.
Yeah, we just got to tell all these guys that if you hear somebody on here working dog x-ray, go call CQ somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah. 10 KCOA or 20 or 30 or 40, whatever. But yeah, you call CQ, you'll get takers.
I had a guy, a friend of mine that I got into all this stuff, and he got on 75 meters. He was never on 10 meter AM. And the first thing he did was he heard me on there, and he's like, "Hi, Dave. How are you? How are things today? I hear you talking with somebody else. I can't really hear him, but I broke it anyway. And so maybe he needs more power or better antenna. And how are you today? And who do I turn it over to?" I was like, "Dude, it doesn't work like that."
Well, I understand kind of breaking in when you hear one of the two. But then, well, obviously, you need to turn it over to the person that you can hear.
It's like this: if you show up with the right equipment, maybe it's okay. But if you're going to get on with your CB stick with an antenna tuner, and you want to work the same DX I'm working, and then you tell the guy you can't hear him, no.
Well, no, no, you got to have the proper gear going the right way and make it all work. Yeah, don't interrupt the flow. Then, if you're non-DX and I'm working DX and you don't hear the DX, but you want to break in, just to say, well, yeah, that sort of upsets the apple cart now, doesn't it?
One of my old neighbors sends me a text. He's like, "Hey man, you want to get on and talk to me?" I'm like, "I can only work people in your area if they have an exceptional antenna." He's like, "My antenna's way up." He's got a tower. It's 35 feet of Roan 25.
That's your average tower.
And he's got a stick on it. I'm like, "You need an exceptional antenna." And I just didn't answer him.
Yeah, that's like average, even below average. You need an above average setup.
Yeah, man, that's what I'm trying to have. I'm trying. The wind didn't blow it down, so I still got it.
Well, if I had a 48-foot boom antenna here, I would not be able to swing it. I would hit a tree.
It's only 45.
Oh, I'm sorry. Even that 3 less feet, I'm still hitting a tree.
Yeah, I think I came up with a way that I can rotate it anywhere, but I'm going to have to do a lot of tennis balls to do this one.
Yeah, all you needed at 45 degrees.
Yeah, that's pretty much true, especially since the cycle is not going to be what it was. I'll switch over to my wire antenna to work stateside people. I'll just leave this thing either right here at 28 degrees, or I'll crank it up to 45 degrees if I feel like it, because it should be pretty much the same.
And my Yagi, my tri-band Yagi, spends most of his life between 30 and 60 degrees. That's where it is.
Yeah, because you want to work Europe.
Yeah, and I want to have another bunch of conversations with John, and hopefully Mervin. Mervin. Every time I talk to Mervin, the few times I talked to him last season, he kept saying, "Well, I'm going to get on more," but I heard you on. I wanted to say hello, and I'm like, dude, you need to get on more. I hope he gets on more this time because I may not hear him again in 11 years. I really like Mervin. He's hilarious. He's got a pretty good memory too, and he always signs with me. Well, we always greet each other in Welsh because last cycle I started doing that. I looked it up and translated, how to greet him in Welsh, and I started doing that, and so it just sort of stuck, and we greet each other in Welsh. And then he knows about my dogs. He always asks about my dogs and whatnot, and he always signs with saying, "And give the dogs a pat on the head for me." I think it's great. I'm gonna miss all that.
Yeah, man. I could tell you, as you know, probably about a good 20, 25 guys like that from the past that are no longer with us. Used to be this guy in Hawaii, KH6CC. Man, he was a lot of fun to talk to. And he had a good signal, too. He lived on a farm, he called it. And then there was another guy in Bavaria, DL6SX. And I didn't know it, but he was like a famous ham, you know. And he stopped talking on AM in 1988. He got off of there because the IARU said that they wanted to kick all more than 2.8 kilohertz wide signals above the 10-meter band. It wasn't a real regulation, but just about all the Germans got off of AM. But this last cycle, they came back because I think they have decided that screw the IARU. And I say, again, if you didn't get it, screw the IARU. W2VW.
Yeah, well, we're doing what we can on this end to keep amplitude modulation alive and popular. You know, I mean, just tonight's crew showing up. We got Steve in there, we got Stefan in there, and of course JR. But I mean, you know, we're doing what we can.
Yes.
And then I got Wayne back on 80 meters, so he should be there on Sunday night.
All right. Well, things are happening. I heard Stefan in there for a bit. He poked up out of the noise, and he was a good copy here. I don't know how he hears me, though, if he hears me.
Yeah, I'm not hearing him so well on the wire as I did on the vertical. So I don't know if he's still in there or not, and I know he wasn't really copying me. So we have to get JR to intervene on that score.
Roger.
Still there, Jim? Did they all leave and go to Channel 13 or something?
I don't know.
Steve, are you here? So in the time I went to go get my camera and come back, they all left?
I guess. Anybody else here besides Pete?
No, I'm still here. K3XU.
Oh, I still hear Chuck. Hello, Chuck.
Yeah, we don't need those other guys. Chuck's here. Hi, Chuck. I heard you before. I don't know if you heard what I said before.
Yeah, I was looking at the lightning strike map. People were really getting hammered.
Not only that, but I was looking off to where the cells were coming from, and I see this flash that looks like it's down the road, and it takes like 6 seconds before I hear it. I'm like, this thing is that far away, and it's that big and strong, and we're in for more.
You know, all of that skirted to the south of me. I was probably 5 miles south of me.
Yeah, well, more power to you, man. That's good.
So, Chuck, we need to meet up.
Yeah, we can do that Sunday, Pete, if you want.
Early again, like 7, 8, something like that?
Yeah.
All right, same Wawa and all?
Yeah, that's fine.
8 o'clock, all right with you then?
8 o'clock is good, yeah.
All right, sounds good. I'm looking forward to it. Just want to see if that helps my Peter Piper peck yeah, all that.
So this thing is 2-channel.
That's okay. I only need one.
Well, you could have 2 different profiles for rigs.
Oh, you know, I mentioned that before. I was like, since I have 2 channels on everything, can't I use the other channel for like other radios? Like,
You can do that, but with the compressor, you don't really want to do that. With an equalizer, you could do that, but if you have to do that, it means your rig needs better frequency response.
Well, I was just wanting to fool around with the B&W. B&W doesn't seem to like it worked for a while, and tonight it doesn't want to work. So it's all that feedback and whatnot. So I'd have to revisit that. I don't really want to do any mods to that radio. There's other radios that are open for modification.
Well, it sounded all right before. It actually sounded better than I thought the thing could sound. So there. Hey Chuck, how do I look on your band scope?
Yeah, really wide.
Yeah, well, it's legal here, so there you go. Except for my lower sideband.
I just switched to 20 kilohertz receive width.
Yeah, that ought to really wake the way up. That ought to really wake up the way it sounds on the high end, at least.
Oh, it does, yeah.
I'm listening.
I wasn't born down to.
Sounds wonderful.
Oh, wait a minute, I can go wider. Hold on here.
Oh yeah, you're running that a non-receiver, aren't you?
Look at that, I drifted up almost 2 kilohertz in 3 hours. What will I do?
This is 12 kilohertz.
It's 12 kilohertz of RF bandwidth?
Yes.
Yeah, sounds great.
Yeah, 12 kilohertz of transmit bandwidth.
Yeah, it makes a little bit of a difference, and it still sounds good. It's not peaky or funky or anything like that.
You know, like Craigie rocks.
Yeah. Well, I got you at about 15 over guess 9 here now. I think I'm getting a little more gain than I had before. I certainly hope so.
Non-vertically polarized.
Oh man, I don't remember that being like that.
I'm running a Henry 3KA.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes a bit of a difference. Well, you have one of those lightning bolt quads, right?
Yeah, I couldn't get the match tune down because of the rain.
Oh man, that's no fun, Chuck. The rain on your mesh? Ugh.
Well, that's what I'm blaming. It could be something else, you know. Wait till the leaves go off the trees. Because I tuned it before. I've talked to you guys before.
I know, I remember that. I didn't even think to look when it started raining here if my match changed, because I'm spoiled. I'm used to not having that problem. And, yeah, I think it changed a little.
Yeah, well, I think the rain helped me finish off my vertical.
Missed that, Pete.
I think the rain helped me finish off my vertical, because now it doesn't work. Oh, what happened to my audio?
Were you able to hear him, Chuck?
Yeah, he thinks the rain did something.
Yeah, to my antenna. But what happened to my... What's going on? I lost audio.
I tuned around for a bit before and heard a VE2 calling CQ down the band a little bit. He was strong here. By the time I figured out what knob to turn up on my SSB transceiver to have audio, somebody else had answered it, and then he faded out. It was really weird. He was coming in really well, and then gone. He was there for probably a full minute, so who knows what the heck that was all about.
Now, I tune 10 meters quite frequently, and I have not heard any openings.
Yeah, I haven't been paying attention to it, but the attention I have paid, it's like the whole world has decided that this band doesn't work, so they're going to go play somewhere else or throw the radio away.
I'm back.
You're back?
Yeah, my 9-volt battery just took that moment to quit.
Check it out. It's glitch night, so that's 2. So you got 1 left, Pete. What do you think it's going to be?
Oh, I hope it's nothing major. I mean, I can take care of the antenna. I can take care of a battery. Just don't want any bigger problems. But yeah, I guess it's glitch night on 10 meters, AA3RE.
I haven't run this 3KA in a long time.
Well, it still works, Chuck. Fantastic. W2 very weak.
The exchange.
Oh, here's another one for you. So when I was over there tuning Wayne's tuner yesterday to make sure that it worked, and it did, which made me really happy. And I said, if you want to move anywhere, you're going to really need a VNA. He goes, well, how about just sell me yours? I'm like, oh, okay. So I said, I'll sell it to you as soon as I get a new one. So I got on Amazon today, and I got the newer version with the 4-inch screen. And I went upstairs to get my camera, sitting on the kitchen table. So as you can hear, I'm opening the package now. My new 4-inch screen VNA.
I thought you were going to say that after he bought it, you needed to borrow it from him.
That's what I should have said. I said, yeah, I'll sell it to you right now. Give me the cash, but I'm going to borrow it right away.
Is there much of a learning curve when you use that thing?
No, I'm a moron when it comes to this stuff. The thing's pretty easy. There's a couple quirkiness things about it that you just got to figure out in the menus, but there's only, I don't use all the functions in it. So once I figured out what I needed to do, it's like I don't even think about it anymore. So once that initial moment of familiarity gets past, it's pretty easy.
I had one. I loaned it to somebody, and I'll never see it again.
Now I got the new, bigger version. I'm opening the package now.
And then I got another one, and it fell down the HVAC duct from the office, and I think it's in the elbow over here. I got to rip the elbow apart.
Oh, man. I can't live without my VNA now. I love this thing. It makes life so easy. So easy.
Yeah, well, before using these, we had some that cost $30,000, but they were heavy.
Well, I remember tuning the antennas by transmitting, looking at the SWR meter, go run to the antenna, make an adjustment, come back to the radio, rinse and repeat like 50 times.
Yeah, that's what I do here because I want the match at the output of my bird line samplers, 2 of them, and couplers, directional couplers, 2 of them, right there. Where it comes out of that is where all the antenna switches are, and that's where I want to measure it. So going out to the antenna with a patch cord and all that, not going to happen, especially with this setup.
Oh, this new larger VNA is nice for me. I won't need my glasses to look at it no more.
I tune my antennas with a rig expert.
I never used one of those, but I think maybe it was you that told me what they do. I hear they're pretty good.
Yeah, I'm too poor to own one of those. These Chinese VNAs are pretty affordable, and they really tell you a lot.
It's probably reporting back everything that you do, though.
You know what? And I don't even care if the government's reporting back everything I do, and my phone's hearing everything I do, because you know what? I don't give a rat's ass what they think about me, because I'm going to continue to do it.
Well, I sent an email to a couple of guys today, and it involved 3 different hams that who ended up being incarcerated, and Chucky knows one of them. Anyway, I gave him my thoughts on that and what I really thought, and I said at the end of it, for anybody who's reading this instead of the intended recipient, maybe think about a career change. And I signed it.
That's my sentiments exactly. Like, the government is supposed to be there to regulate interstate commerce and protect my borders, and that's just about it. Everything else, stay the hell out of my life.
We can't do this. Chuck's gonna leave. Follow the money. That's it. That's all you can say. And that's not a bad thing, really, because that covers it all.
Oh man, look at that screen. I don't even need glasses.
Can you see my signal on it? If not, it's not working.
Has to have an antenna hooked up first.
Hey, Chuck.
Yep.
Those guys that put up the 160 meter top band DXers group there, I think you know those guys. They took down their expose of Mark.
Oh, no kidding.
Remember that? I was gonna send the link to Pete, because Pete knows Mark from way back when, apparently. So I was looking for it, and it's not there anymore.
Yeah, I remember seeing that whole page, and I pretty much threw that out the window and talked to him like a regular guy.
I was more intrigued when I saw that. I'm like, oh, this guy's been in prison. He could be very interesting to talk to. And he put it up online that he was in prison. I didn't realize that he didn't put that up. I thought he was like a member of that group or something. I didn't know. You know, I don't hold that against anybody. I mean, he served his debt to society. Of course, you know, I'm saying this all tongue-in-cheek. But yeah. I mean, yeah, so what? He had a couple of problems.
Who in life doesn't have some sort of problem in their life? Some have it more, some have it less. Gonna hold that against you forever.
And if you're married to a disaster, yes, I could have landed up the very same way. I had an incident with the police too when my first wife melted down. There were 5 of them and 1 of me, and they were goading me to try to. They were all like 5 foot nothing too. They were like goading me to start something with them. It was really annoying.
I had a not too dissimilar incident in my distant past. I was a much younger, more volatile man, but yeah, I'm like, okay, whatever, you got me, but I still didn't do anything.
Well, this went around and around and around, and that was going to make their night, you know, if 5 of them got to cuff me and take me in, but it just didn't happen. So sorry.
Yeah, well, I had this discussion with my coworkers today. It's like there's guilt on both sides as far as criminals and police, but the police always seem to want to escalate the situation instead of de-escalate, and that's part of the problem.
Yeah, I'm not an expert on that. I've got a lot more respect for police that work in cities. You know, not to say that I don't have respect for them out here, but yeah, some of them are jackasses, and they should have never gone into police work. They had a problem with that in New Jersey back in the late '80s. They had all these roidhead state police, and it was like the whole freaking state police in New Jersey were these, pumped up dudes with a short temper. And they actually changed the regulations. You had to have a 2-year degree before you could apply for the state police, and they were proactive about doing something with it. Of course, that's almost 40 years ago now.
Well, I saw it when I was just in the reserves. My last, I did 10 active as a boiler technician, and then I did 10 years in the reserves as military police. And I just thought it was a cool weekend gig, kind of thing. And all right, I'd go after people that are, obviously doing infractions. But I was working with dudes that were get all puffed up in the chest, and the badge gave them special powers, and they were just dicks. So dude, you don't need to be a dick. They're humans too, and we're on a military base, so everybody you pull over is not a criminal.
Yeah, that's a problem there when you wind up in that position. W2 very weak.
AA3RE. Well, I see that, that was on that, on a whole scale, and you see that, but you see that out in the real world too. There's always those dudes, they just think they're better than everybody else because they got the badge. I'm like, well, that's not the case. I mean, you have some authority, but with that authority comes some responsibility, and it's incumbent upon you to be the professional. Now I get it, just because of society, the way it's gone, that they got to be on guard all the time, and it sort of takes away from that. But even so, there's still those ones who just dicks. AA3RE.
And that goes for just about any other walk of life.
True. I know we probably should change the subject before we lose Chuck. Or is it too late? Is it too late for that?
But they had all their cop cars had that blue stripe, Chuck. Man, that blue stripe looks really good on a police vehicle.
Yeah, they went to a new logo on all the trucks now, and now they got rid of the blue stripe. Now it's a white ghost stripe.
Oh man, you put all those stripes on all those trucks, and now they're changing it? Won't they realize you're busy?
Well, they have a combination of new and old, but any of the new vehicles have the white reflective stripe on it.
I have a funny story along those lines.
Roll it.
So when I was on shore duty, still active duty, that out of Philadelphia, I had pretty much easy hours. A lot of days I'd show up and they're like, nothing for you, go home. So I picked up a moonlighting job, which was basically the daytime, and I worked it out with the guy. It was my local motorcycle shop that I still use down in Norristown. But anyway, so I told him, I was like, some days I could show up and some days I can't, and I'll show up when I can show up. He says, great. So it worked out great. And I was like, look, I don't even want to be paid cash. I just want to be paid. I want a Snap-on credit card and just fill up my Snap-on credit card, and I'm going to buy tools. That's the whole reason I want this job. So anyway, that's how I got all my Snap-on tools that I have. I worked for him at this motorcycle shop while I was in the Navy. So anyway, we used to work on the Norristown Police Harley Davidsons. And there was one time I was working on one, and I had to take it out for the test drive and all that. And I went cruising around Bridgeport, King of Prussia area, and I'm coming back north on 202. And I was coming up 202 on this police Harley, and I was wearing nothing but a wife beater shirt and, a pair of jeans and a helmet. And I see in my mirror this Mercedes Benz. I mean, he's flying. He is flying. I'm already doing 50 or so anyway, but I see these coming up on me quick. And then he got within a certain distance of me. He realized that might be a cop. He slowed down. He pulls up alongside of me, and he sees I'm not a cop, but he does this double take, and he doesn't know Is he a cop? Is he not a cop? He's on a cop bike, but he don't look like a cop. So he just stayed behind me.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That was so much fun.
I remember back in high school, there were two different guys I knew that had ex-cop cars. One guy had, I think it was a 73 Plymouth, and the other one was a Ford. I think that was the newer one. Anyway, both of those guys invited me to go out for a ride, to give them my opinion, what I thought about their car. And both of them did the same thing, He found somebody you knew and followed them.
Yeah, those, the ex-cop Crown Vics and stuff. You see them on the road and like, do I pass them? Do I not pass them? I'm not sure.
Yeah, a guy I work with used to buy those at auction and fix them up and sell them. And he had some pretty hot looking cars that were like detective cop cars,
Those police special Crown Vics, they got some balls, and they got some pretty good suspension and whatnot. I've seen some, YouTube videos and whatnot of people having them and take them out on the track. And there's actually a racing circuit surrounding those, ex Crown Vics, police cars, and they go out racing the things. They look like they have a pretty good time on a low budget.
I got one for my son. Well, he paid for most of it, but anyway, when he was in college, a P71, it was 2003. It was a good car, but I wouldn't take that sucker to a racetrack.
All these dudes are taking these ex-police Crown Vics and they're going out on a track and racing each other. It's hilarious.
Yeah, his favorite car was a Caprice.
Now that was a good cop car.
Yeah, I'll agree. I went through what they call an EVOC course in the Navy. It was Emergency Vehicle Operation and Control. And we were out on an airstrip, and they put cones out, all the cones, and you got to, follow the cones, whatever. And then there was this one point where it was a left or right decision, but there was like a stoplight overhead. And if it was green left, you went left. If it was green right, you went right. But it didn't change until you got right up on it. So it was a last minute decision. And you had to get through the whole course with only hitting a couple of cones or whatever, no more. And I remember getting in the car and the instructor says to me, he says, drive as fast as you can without hitting any cones. I'm like, as fast as I can, huh? Nobody's ever told me drive as fast as I can. Boy, I had fun.
Sounds like fun.
Oh, it was great. And I didn't hit any cones. I couldn't believe how much you can swing the steering wheel on one of those Caprice cars. It's squealing, it's protesting, it's making all kinds of noise, and it's body rolling, but it was going where I wanted it to go.
Yeah, I remember there was a guy on the Parkway who was in a high-speed chase. He was in one of those. What year would that would have been? It would have been about 1994 or 5. And he was up in the Eatontown area there on the Parkway, headed north, I believe, and he was chasing this guy on a motorcycle. And I think he went hard to the right shoulder because somebody moved over, didn't see him coming. So he ducked into the shoulder and he lost it. He was killed. And I still remember the guy's name was Francis Bellrand. And I didn't know they called him Frankie. But anyway, years later, I'm working for WNBC, and I'm up at the Rutgers, the Cook campus up there off of Route 1. I'm working on their radar that they put in. And we hired a security firm to monitor the cameras and everything because it was an unmanned site, even though it was on the college campus. But anyway, this guy was a retired state trooper, and I mentioned this guy. He goes, "Oh wow, yeah, I was friends with him. We worked together for years." And it was like all these years later, I just thought of the guy's name. You know, it was one of those small world things. It was really weird, but he's, you know, like, yeah, it was a, you know, a great loss. The poor guy lost it. And my car had crapped out. I went to go get lunch, and the cable, the battery cable that went to the starter solenoid broke off. And I couldn't reach it. I couldn't do anything with it because I didn't have enough tools with me. So I got him to give me a ride because somebody else gave me a ride back to the site where I finished up work. So the guy gave me a ride all the way down to this Wawa on Route 130 and dropped me off after that. So I fixed my car and drove home.
Yeah, I used to have to fix cars of mine on the side of the road on a kind of regular basis. I always had crap cars, but I always had nice motorcycles. Cars, I only need that for the weather's bad. Motorcycles got to be nice. AA3RE.
W2 very weak.
K3XU.
Chucky, you need to record those settings, man.
Oh, really? Okay.
It sounds like, it really does. It sounds like $1 million. It doesn't need anything. That's it. Don't buy another radio. Do not pass go.
It seemed the B&W don't like the outboard processing. Because I was going to play musical microphones with those mics now that I made up a, what do you call it, XLR plug.
Let me see here. 9 watts into the amp.
$9 watts.
Yeah, let's see. 1, 2, 1, 2. Voice peak's about 500.
Hey, you got to exercise the, 9 watts?
Yep.
Usually do, I'm using my 30S1 is I'll tune it up into the dummy load for about 2 kilowatts peak with a carrier, with a brief carrier, and I'll just tune it up so I don't exceed the maximum screen current. Then I'll drop the drive down if I'm on AM to like 18 watts or something like that. And that gives me legal limit out.
Yeah, my error correction's in the green.
Yeah, that's really nice. Yeah, I can't make a clean signal like that. Not with this crap. But then again, I'm on 10 meter AM. If somebody gets 7 kilohertz away from me, that's their problem.
Is that your Yazoo?
No, it's my Johnson 500 with the QSC modulator, so it's solid state. Solid state audio.
I still think about getting one of those.
Oh, 500? Yeah, they were cool rigs. They really are. I like them, but they're old, really old.
Barker and Williamson, 5100 Bravo.
You know, I think about getting a 500, and then it's like, well, I have this 3KA Henry and this Anon. What else do I need?
Yeah, there you go. You want to hear the Yaesu? Oh, well, here's the Yaesu. Barefoot Yaesu. Oh, 25 watts. How's that?
Well, you're still pretty strapping.
Dropped down to from a 7 to a 3 here, but I still hear you fine.
What I can do is I can
Stall.
like this. Yeah, Dave, you're an idiot. What's the matter with you? Oh, yeah? You think I'm an idiot, huh?
Yeah, it's very subtle.
To have an argument with yourself. The difference between S7 and S3 here, but I still hear you.
Very interesting. That's my backup. So if I have the amp on, I can instantly switch between this, if it quits, and the Yaesu, and still make a legal limit signal if my old boat anchor craps out. And you know what that does for me?
I imagine it makes you happy, and there's hardly any difference that you can tell when you do that.
It keeps my radio from quitting. If I don't have an instant backup, my radio might decide to quit. But if I have an instant backup, it never quits.
Oh, so maybe I should have had an instant backup antenna, and my primary antenna, wouldn't have never quit.
Man, you need to stick a metal antenna up there. You need a metal coaxial dipole or something. None of that fiberglass.
Yeah, well, I've had metal antennas here, and they last about a year in the woods, and then branches fall down and bust them all up.
I remember when you had co-phase verticals.
The co-phase verticals worked really well. I still have that co-phaser, but I don't have two IMAXs anymore.
How much of a pattern did you get out of that?
Well, it was a co-phase box, so I could end fire in either direction or broadside it. It was directional, like three different directions, major lobes. Well, four really, but two real good major lobes on the end fire, and then the broadside was pretty good too.
There's a bunch of guys. I don't know if they're still doing it or not. Probably not. But they're up on Long Island, and they're all hams, but they got on CB one night a week. The same deal that goes on down, very same thing. But a lot of these guys were fooling around with multiple verticals, and they were switching in and out, phased away, like a chunk of coax in and out, for a delay line to change your pattern. And guys with two different antennas separated by 100 feet, all this stuff. I thought it was pretty neat. They got really into it for a while.
I started fooling around with my co-phase setup, and I would put in stubs, coaxial shorted stubs and open stubs, just to be able to change my pattern around. And it wasn't so much to make gain as it was to null out undesirable signals. Copy?
Oh, I get that. Trust me.
And I could take a particular undesirable signal that was somewhere in the 10 dB over guess 9 neighborhood, and I could push him down all the way down into my noise, about an S1, S2. Push him right on down by putting in a shorted stub of the right length.
Very interesting.
Yeah, that co-phaser, I still have it. I don't want to give that thing up because I'd like to use that again because that was the bomb. It was sort of like a beam where you could shift your major lobe around and introduce rejection, but there was no moving parts.
Well, now you're stuck. You just got to fix your broken antenna. You'd be lucky to get that working.
Yeah, I know. Well, of course, like it's the best elevation I've ever had, the best working, situation I've ever had on the band, and then it wasn't meant to last. Come on.
Well, that's why I'm giving this one hell, because this is going to be it, 10 meters, just like you were saying with Mervyn and all that. And I'm going to give it a good old, and I got to get my Junction kilowatt. Needs about 2 days worth of work, and I will have that on the air.
Well, I don't have any issues with my tri-bander, which is the antenna of choice for here to Europe, so I'm fine. It's just that the vertical did work better in stateside later in the day, better than the beam. But to Europe, the beam wins. So I do definitely have to do something about the vertical, because that gets up and over the topography that blocks my view.
Yeah, understood, because where I used to live was like a slam dunk for Europe. But the other directions for local stuff were not that good. They were okay for DX, but for extended surface ground wave, blah, blah, whatever you call it. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I just need to use the vertical for stateside pretty much. And the beam works best towards Europe and Africa, South Africa. Anything from north to south on the eastern side. North to south on the western side, pretty much got to be the stick. Well, the beam works, but the stick always seems to be better.
You need to get a desk for that kilowatt.
Chuck, you know how to push my buttons.
Yeah, and put it on the top of the desk, and then you can call it a desktop kilowatt.
Anybody that calls that a desk kilowatt, I just want to take the desk, pick it up, and drop it on them, but it's too heavy.
Well, if you were able to, you would never hear from them again.
What's in that, 400s?
Yeah, used to be, not anymore.
So,
Like metal triodes?
Nope. I hate tetrodes sometimes. Complete modulation is one of those times. So I put 3 400s in mine.
so since we're on the subject of tubes, what was the reasoning behind changing out the 6V6s for 5881s on that Hallicrafters?
I'm not entirely sure why the guy did that. I don't know, but that guy designed those old Harman Kardon citation amps. He really knows what he's doing. He's the real deal. So I don't know. That's a great question. I don't have the answer.
Okay, so there is a reason behind it, deeper than what meets the eye. But I did tell Steve, like, that's not original. This is modified, just so you know.
Yeah, I told him that, but there's so many things about that. You only absorb so much. When somebody tells you 50 things, you might only remember 32 of them. I get that. I try not to do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's in information overload stage. There. So he's got to go over it a few times. He'll get it. We give him time. He was already. Well, he was funny though. On 160, he was saying, "Well, I think after you left, the band got really good. We were on till about 11 or so, and the band got really good, and the signal to noise was way better." And he's like, "Oh my God, I thought my tram was a good receiver. I never heard such good voice audio coming out of receiver as I'm hearing right now." He was a trip.
Yeah, I guess he hasn't been exposed to. Well, did you cruise around the AM broadcast band with him and let him listen to some of those? Some of those AM broadcast stations sound pretty good.
I did myself when I had it in my hands, and I was doing it when I was there. I tuned around on some different, shortwave broadcasters, AM broadcasts, and different stuff. But he was, I don't think he was paying all that much attention to what was going on at that particular time. He absorbs things like roasting coffee. It takes a little time.
Oh yeah, I mean, what, he's in his late 60s, and I'm in my early 60s, and you're, what, 60? I mean, we know what's going on. Right, Chuck?
Steve is 70.
That is the perfect receiver for him. That really is.
Oh, it's right up his alley. And that's what will suck him in. That receiver has got him hooked.
Well, that's good. Everybody's happy. I'm happy I had more space. Told you what I did. I got a realistic TRC 48 sitting right where that was.
It's all right. What if you're patient enough and can wait till I'm able to raise the funds? I'll make more space over there with that 141T and the R390.
Yeah, I'm not in a hurry. That's not going anywhere if you're interested in it. Not a problem.
AA3RE. I am interested, but I just have to raise hobby funds for it. So that's the way that goes. And I blew a bit of a wad there at the Ham Fest, but not my entire wad. But now I have to build the funds back up again to meet the goal. But yeah. Oh, Steve is hooked now. I'm after listening to him on here tonight. I'm convinced of it.
Oh, you two very weak. Should have had him fire the SX-28 up on here. I don't know. I don't know how much he'd hear. Yeah. Let me see something here. Hello, 5. Yeah. Tell you what, this transmitter likes 10 meters. I don't know why.
Yeah, since this B&W. Remember last time I used a B&W, we were down on 80, and after a time it started doing some funky arcing and sparking nonsense. But here on 29, it never seems to balk at it. It seems happy here. Even on 40 meters, I never have an issue, but on 80, every once in a while, it seems a little bit of malcontent. I don't know. But what else was I going to say? Oh, Chuck, Steve had the cases painted on the Hallicrafters and the Heathkit. He had the cases, not. He got them powder coated. Man, they look good.
Oh yeah, you sent me a picture of it Sunday night. It does look fantastic.
Yeah, he's so meticulous and stuff. He wants everything museum quality. Like, I'm not that anal. As long as it's clean and not, destroyed, I'm fine. He brought up a D104. He brought up a D104 to use, and it wasn't wired right. Like, would you just pull that out of the box? Everything he has looks like it's like brand new.
I can see him this winter being a regular on 160.
Oh yeah. Once we get past the noise of the summertime, that's what was frustrating him. And he's got a high 60 cycle, power line noise level there too, and that's a problem. And that could take away. If that doesn't go away or abate some, that will keep him away. But if we can mitigate that, or he mitigates that, or it fades out, or signal to noise is better, then we'll have him hooked. But if he's got to listen to that power line noise, I don't know.
Yeah, if he calls Pico, I know the guy that's going to go to his house and troubleshoot it. He's pretty smart.
You gotta walk around there first. Shut off your own stuff. Use battery receiver and all that first before you go involving the utility. And if it's still there, then you call him.
I told him as much.
I had a horrendous noise one whole winter, and it turned out to be a wallboard. Don't surprise me, Ed.
Yeah, I told him. I said, you need to start turning stuff off in your house first. Walk around with a portable AM radio, then you can hear the noise, and turn stuff off in your own house. Shut your own house down if need be. If it's still there, then walk along the street and the power lines, and if you hear it all along walking around there, then you gotta call Pico. And then they'll deal with it, because you're a licensed radio station and they can't interfere with you. And they do have people to deal with it.
Yeah, Dennis is the guy that is quality assurance, and he has an IC718 that he hooks up to a scope, and he'll tune to the noise that the complainant has, and he'll capture it and look at the wave pattern, and then he'll drive around up and down the street to try to find that signal.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, it's good that they got somebody that knows what the heck they're doing. I ran into a guy like that many moons ago when I lived in Lansdale, and he was a ham, too, and I don't remember his call, but he came out, and he had this handheld device with a like a little Yagi that he would point around until he found the source. And I called him, and he came out and told him what the deal was, and he found it. It was on a pole down the road.
Yeah, there's a ham local here that was a contester, and he was on 20 meters. And every morning at 5 a.m., there would be this horrendous noise that would take out all the European stations. So Dennis went out to this certain pole down the street from the guy, set up with a lawn chair before the sun came up, and as soon as the sun cracked the horizon, there was a skim of dew on one of the insulators on the pole, and it was arcing. He saw it with a pair of binoculars.
Yeah, it's funny how stuff like that happens.
I'm much better here where I live. I have like almost zero noise, any band at any time. It's just a beautiful thing, except for that weird one that's been popping up on me on 160, but it's not consistent.
W2 very weak.
883 are you?
KZRXU, yeah. So Dennis went out at like at 4 o'clock in the morning because the guy, Dennis lives out in Morgantown, and he drove down to this guy's place off Westchester Pike in West Goshen, and he did a little detective work, and he pulled up to this one pole, and he sets up a lawn chair, and he has a pair of binoculars, and he's looking up at the insulators, and sure enough, there it is.
Yeah, that little zzz makes a horrendous noise on lower part of HF.
Oh yeah, big spark gap transmitter, 60 feet up.
I'm glad there are still some competent people out there in electric land, Chuck. That's wonderful. Wondering where this hobby is going to be in 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
Well, as long as I'm still breathing, I'll still be playing. So here's one for you. So I mentioned yesterday, I think at dinner to the wife, it's like, my license is going to be coming up at the beginning of next year. She said this, and she goes, well, you can't let that expire. You have to renew it. I'm like, yeah, I'm just bringing it up because I need to. And she goes, well, when is mine up? I'm like, yours is 2 years after mine, so you're all right for a while. But as much as she may poo-poo balance line feeders going past the dining room window, she does not want me to give this hobby up.
Well, it keeps you whole, or she can keep an eye on you.
She knows where I am. I'm out of trouble. I'm kept entertained. I don't know if she would actually admit it, but I think she's, because I've heard her like talking to her friends and whatnot. Well, my husband's an amateur radio operator. I think she's secretly proud of the fact.
Well, she didn't get the memo.
She made poo-poo balance line feeders in front of the dining room window, but I think the rest of it she's kind of okay with. I guess it's fun to poke fun, but she realizes it's a pretty, as far as hobbies goes, it's not that bad of a hobby to be involved in.
Dude, let me tell you something. I can't really cook or bake a cake or any of that. I don't think I look too good in a skirt, but I looked at those feeders and I was like,
that wasn't that bad.
I like open wire feeders, but
It was I had no other choice. There's no other way to bring it into the shack here. So I tried it out. It worked. It just didn't pass her scrutiny.
Dave said I had to do this. You did that, right? You blame me.
Well, it's easier to blame somebody else, isn't it?
Would you buy those off Mr. Haney?
What?
The balance feeders. Mr. Haney from Green Acres.
Oh, that's too old a reference for me. I know what Green Acres is, but I never really watched it.
Some of my friends were calling me Oliver Douglas for a while when I used to go out to the shed to change bands.
I tried to sell Train that antenna. But maybe now he will.
Yeah, I'm just thinking what his final antenna tuner is going to look like. I mean, I know he's got a good one right now, but you know what's going to happen. I mean, you know what's going to happen.
With him, oh, I know what's going to happen. The coax antenna is not going to be enough for him. He's going to go balance line feeders. So I'm just trying to just sell him mine, and I'll make another one. But if he doesn't buy mine, well then, once I hook it up to my antenna tuner, once it's mounted in the shed, well then you're just going to have to wait till I make you one.
If he builds a balance tuner, I can't imagine what that's going to look like.
Oh, him building one? Yeah, I couldn't imagine what that would look like either. It would be something exponentially better looking than yours, which is perfect looking.
Yeah, it's red rosewood, and the coils are going to be highly polished.
Oh yeah, they'll be kind of chrome plated or something like that. You polished rosewood. Oh yeah, I can see it now. Or we'd have one looking like, you ever see those ones from, what is it, Appalachian Radio or something like that? They build balance line tuners.
Oh yeah.
He might have something along those lines.
Mark's wash tub tuners on that website.
Which Mark?
The Mark that checked in on 160 the other night.
RMR, really?
Yeah, he has a wash tub. Has a homebrew tuner he put in a wash tub.
Oh wow. I think Wayne's should be pictured on the cover of a magazine, the one I built for Wayne.
I think what we need to do is we need to go back on QRZ and find that guy that called your tuner a contraption, Pete, and I'll post every picture I have of my tuner, including the one where it was on fire, the video, and all the other tuners that I've made over the years. And we'll encourage everybody else we know who's ever built a tuner to put it on there and start carping about end-fed antennas.
I'll play that game. So we'll take my contraption, the picture, Wayne's contraption. Of course, it's definitely a contraption. We'll put that on there because it's not even one piece of wood. It's I could have done it better, but could I have done it cheaper? No, but I could have maybe done it better with spending money. But for no money, I think it's pretty good. The whole thing is it works for something that's not supposed to work.
Yeah. Well, let's see who got into it with that guy. Oh, Clark. Clark posted something about a 160 meter experiment that he was doing, emphasizing how you maximize the efficiency of your loaded antenna. And the same guy started in with Clark. I stayed out of it. I let Clark fight his own battles.
I'm not really sure how you feel about him, but I see him similar to you. Like, you know what? Like, you stuff shirts. Like, you're gonna give me a hard time, I'm gonna stick it right back at you. Watch.
Do I do that to people?
You two are similar in that regard, in my eyes.
I never noticed that I did that.
Well, that's one of the reasons I like you. I was brought up to challenge authority. Challenge stuffed shirts. Like, just live life and enjoy it. Don't be such a dick.
Yeah, that would be a good T-shirt.
I think that would be, wouldn't it?
So, Dave, how high should I put the feed point on my end fed?
Well, here's the secret for you, Chuck. If you're going to run an end fed, you absolutely have to run an end fed. Run 2 end feds, and take a second end fed and run it in the other direction, in a mirror image of the first, and then run both of your feed lines down to a matching unit. It'll work a lot better.
What kills me is the people that call end feds, oh, I got my end fed dipole. Like,
Dude, listen, this is the thing. The IEEE actually changed the definition of the dipole. It used to say 2 poles, symmetrical, in some situations understood to be a high current feed, non-reactive, and then they got rid of all that crap, and they just said a length of wire and space that's fed with RF, and they got rid of where it's fed, how you feed it. It kind of reminds me of some of the crap that people are taught in school these days. It's utter crap, and it's useless, and it's actually degenerative to thought, and that's what that is.
if you just use plain English language and its source, dipole, break the word down. Die, 2, pole. Okay, 2 poles. You got a pole on this side, you got a pole on that side of equal length. Dipole. How an end fed becomes a dipole is antithema to anything I understand about electricity or electronics, and antithema to the English language.
I agree with you, but the professors, you know what they say, if you can't do, you teach, right?
Oh yeah, I've heard that a lot. Those who can do, those who can't teach.
Yeah, well, somebody I know really well took a teaching position a few years ago, and I mean, I know Chuck taught, but Chuck knows how to do stuff. So that's a whole different thing. But somebody else I know who is a real doer, who can do anything, and who is really dangerous when it comes to electronics, took a teaching position. And all the BS crap and politics and do this, that, and having idiots tell you how to do things scared him off. And he was done. But he's still physically in the system, so he can go back and do that, you know, in semi-retirement or something like that. Yeah, there's a good example is Chuck. Chuck knows how to do just about anything, and if he doesn't, he knows who to ask. What was it like, Chuck? I know you've said this before, teaching kids that are being warehoused because their moms and dads want them to get a good career.
13th grade with cigarettes.
Yeah, Chuck is the exception, and there are others out there like Chuck, but those who actually can do and have done and then teach are way better teachers than those who, you know all the theory and try to teach but can't actually do it. Like my father's a pretty good example. He's been a college professor his whole entire career, as well as a radio DJ. But anyway, he's really good at radio DJing. I never really sat in any of his college classes though to see him teach. So, but I know like when it comes to mechanical stuff, he'd just hurt himself with a screwdriver.
Yeah, well, I realized that we just insulted the crap out of Chuck, not on purpose, but Chuck understands because, I mean, I know Chuck can do stuff. Just imagine how frustrating that had to be, where you have all the answers, you know how to teach people because you've been doing it your whole life, and you get in that situation and you have to work within the constraints, and then jackass kids on top of it. Well, I'm sure you had some bright stars there. That must have been a good feeling.
Oh yeah, and I'm still friends with a lot of them.
Yeah, Steve always mentions that his kid was in your class.
Oh yeah. I met Steve and I didn't realize who he was at the time. At his son's graduation.
Yeah, he used to be with the Four Tops.
That's quite a small worldism right there.
Oh yeah, it is.
But like my machine shop teacher that I had in Votech in high school, like I had a guy that was probably like a Chuck. Like he did it all his life in industry, and he knew how to do, and then he knew how to translate what he did into teaching you how to do it. And he was a teacher, but he was a machinist first and a teacher second versus an academic.
Roger. I got to figure out how to make this AGC faster. Are you hearing multipath on my signal now, Pete?
Yes, sir, I am. I guess that's what you're getting on me, multipath.
Yeah, it's picket fencing. It's kind of cool. Just wondering if you're getting the same thing.
Yeah, it's like swoosh, 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 swoosh. Yeah. Oh, I think that stuff is cool. Propagation, the magic of radio. I love it all.
Yeah, well, being horizontally polarized, it's airplane flutter.
Yeah, I don't hear any of that.
Yeah, I think we're too strong to each other for airplane flutter to affect it. It's not going to do it.
You know what amazes me though, and I just verified it. My wire is doing way better to you than my 3-element Yagi is.
Well, you may have a lobe. Hey, you can get Professor Geico for GIGO, garbage in, garbage out. That's what I call the guy, Professor Geico. You can get him to model your antenna.
Yeah, okay. And I always take antenna modeling with a grain of salt because nearby structures, trees, terrain, ground composition, all kinds of stuff. Well, okay, the modeling is basically in free space. Well, how many of us are actually putting an antenna up in free space?
Well, it's gotten a lot better, especially the way that the grounds work and all that. I'm in touch with some people who are antenna geniuses who know a whole hell of a lot more than I'm ever going to know, and they have nothing but good things to say about antenna modeling as long as you use it properly.
There's some serious multipathing on that last transmission. But all right, well, I would like to challenge one of those people for a perfect example to model this antenna I'm using right now on all the HF bands. Why not? From here down to 160. So it's basically about 100 feet up in the woods, surrounded by freaking trees, inverted V, fed with crappy brown stuff. Model that for me over my rocky terrain with in the woods.
Yeah, I don't know how much the vegetation is going to affect that, to tell you the truth. I think that's a little overblown.
You don't think that has more or less influence depending upon frequency?
No, because we're talking about what modeling does. It's going to spit out the pattern, and it's going to spit out how to maximize it, change parameters a little bit this way or the other to make it work better, and that's it. It's not going to tell you how much you're heating up your earthworms.
I don't think I'm heating up earthworms, but I could be heating up, poplar trees.
All right, Pete. Well, listen, we're friends, but I got to tell you, don't say anything negative about a poplar tree.
No. I would never talk bad about poplar trees. That's what's supporting my antenna. It's just that it runs the lengths of it run through several poplars. So I don't know how the poplars are feeling the effects, or they themselves are affecting the radiation pattern.
Tell you one thing, I had a dead branch where the hoist was for this thing, and the dead branch, when I took the antenna down, I was working on it. It did me a favor and it fell off the tree while the antenna wasn't there.
Oh, well, that's a win.
That is one of the biggest tree wins I've ever had in my life, because usually it's a loss, and sometimes it costs a lot of money.
Yeah, don't I know? I've destroyed 3 Mako 5/8 wave ground plane antennas here in the woods from falling limbs.
Wait a minute, you can't repair a bent 5/8 wave Mako? Come on, Pete.
Oh, a bent one? Sure. When it breaks that ground plane hub, that cast aluminum piece, maybe I should learn how to cast aluminum, I guess. But I hadn't yet figured that out. But that those little stubs on the hub of the cast aluminum ground plane hub, boop, bust it right up.
A guy with your skill set should have that done before lunch. Come on.
Well, yeah, I know, and I probably should have, and I didn't. But I know I could, but just at the time I didn't. So I went for the easy route. Oh, fiberglass, no radials. All right, let's hoist that sucker up in a tree.
I do everything with hand tools, and it looks like crap. And I don't care. You and Chuck, you can make beautiful stuff that even works.
If I could, I probably should, and I know I could. Just start casting my own parts, and then I can machine them all clean. I know I could do it.
You ought to see what I did with this gamma match. I can't even talk about it on the air, but it works.
That's like one of my mantras. I don't really give a crap what it looks like, as long as it works like I want it to.
Yeah, well, Steve went up to Billy's place, so he saw SOB, which was built to be beautiful and to be easily operated by somebody with no eyesight. So he got a good look at that. And then I sent them pictures of SOB over here. He saw pictures of Big Blue, which was the first amp. But when I built that amp, I doubled everything, all the metal work. I got 2 of everything because I knew I was going to duplicate it and build another one. But when I did build the other one, I did it in a hurry. And I built it as fast as I could on my back deck at the house in Beechwood. I was standing there all day for 2 days straight. I had like 4 different battery-operated drills and a couple of hacksaws, and pipe cutters, this, that, and the other. And I whipped that sucker together. I didn't care what it looks like. I still don't care what it looks like.
Between you and I and Chuck, if we went and started building stuff, between the 3 of us, I think we could make some beautiful pieces of gear.
Dave, can you help me with my unfed?
Absolutely. Chuck, let me tell you what. I could help you with your NFED, but here's how it works. If I am responsible for engineering in an antenna system, I get the final say on all engineering changes.
Oh, I see where you're going with this.
Wait a minute. If I'm going to be machining parts, I get a say in the engineering of said parts.
You're sweeping between S5 and almost S8 right now, Pete.
You were doing the same thing in the previous transmission, S5 to S9. It's really flipping around. It's pretty interesting to watch.
Yeah, I guess we got a holding pattern going on between a friend of mine who is SK now, who's a contester, used to tell me that on 10 meters, he won the 10 meter contest a bunch of years. He used to tell me the secret on this band is the holding pattern was like only 40 miles away from where he lived, and he could work all kinds of people when the band got thin at night, when the regular propagation went away. He could work like everybody from the neighboring states because of the airplane enhancement that was there. See, now it's interfering with us, but if you're a contester and it's 1 in the morning on this band, some other guy's going, CQ contest, and he's been doing that for 2 hours, all of a sudden you guys will hear each other.
I really, over my amateur career, let's say, have enjoyed the 10-meter band because I've, it's got some really interesting propagation characteristics. I mean, we know what it can do on a daily basis when things are dead. But then you got the E skip, then you got the F layer, and then you got the backscatter, and you even got tropospheric ducting and throw in a little bit of meteor scatter. And I've worked stuff that on this band that I just wouldn't have never thought possible that you could work on this band. Like like some contacts just stand out, like working a guy in the Catskill Mountains on this band. And I'm, using 100 watts and probably my TA33 here that I'm using. But, like I can't do that every day. And what? That had to be some kind of tropo mode or something. I don't know. But there's, like, you could work, you could easily get all 50 states on this band if you just stuck with it. You can work inside the skip zone, outside the skip zone, all around tropo. There's all kinds of modes to, propagate a signal on this band. It is pretty amazing. This and 6 meters are kind of a little bit magical bands in that way.
My favorite one is the ducting, because people will argue with you that ducting doesn't work here.
And I'll argue back that it does, because I've experienced it myself. It's not often, it's not common. The tropospheric ducting absolutely happens on 10 meters.
Yeah, I talked to who we got going here. Chucky showed up tonight on 10 meters. Chuck, this is great.
Yeah, using an end-fed antenna.
Of Albany, New York on 10 meters. It probably only lasted about 10 minutes.
Was one of them named Fred?
No.
Oh, that's too bad. He hangs out on, he used to hang out on 28-340.
Well, I thought Fred was like in the southern tier.
Where the hell was Delmar? All I know is Fred wasn't supposed to be there, and he was. I think he was taking a hiatus from HF for some reason. And somebody dropped a dime on him for being there.
Well, he got burned out with the macaroni net.
I think he was invited not to be on HF for a period of time. That's what it looks like. But people tell me he's back. Hey, Fred, are you there? Am I aimed at Fred? Let me think about this. No. Well, he probably wouldn't hear me anyway. The whole thing with him, that dude, is the antics that he used to partake in. He can't do that crap anymore, because I think he owns something now. He probably, I know his dad died, his mom's probably, if she's still around, she's like 95 years old, so I'm assuming that he probably actually owns a car, and a home maybe even, or some of a home, you know, minus whatever, equity, whatever. So you can't go around spewing crap about people on the air like you used to.
I remember he used to say, yeah,
Very, very slowly. I put some slime in there.
he was rockbound, and the audio didn't sound like an E.
Yeah, it would be interesting if anybody could access my security cameras and watch me cursing and yelling.
And he went into the menu and he opened up the carrier offset, and he'd be on lower sideband, and he'd have like 500 kilohertz of an upper sideband, kind of like what my Yaesu does. Those guys on 1923 are like, same deal. Anyway, thankfully that's all in the past, but that was some good entertainment, I guess, back in the day. You'd be on 3872 or whatever, and all of a sudden here would come there's a frequency in use, and then he'd totally ignore anybody that says the frequency is in use, and he'd start calling up his net.
He was famous for suckering in new hams to join the fray.
Yeah. People used to send me emails. He would send out like a group email. If you hear any actionable interference, please document it and send it in to Riley Hollingsworth at this address. You know, his dad was like number 3 in the New York State Police. So I'm just thinking that maybe he got away with a lot of stupid stuff. Anyway, Brett, if you're out there, give me an audio report. Send me an email, buddy. W2VW.
Alpha 3 Romeo Echo.
Well, it's been fun, guys, but I'm going to sign. I got to get some sleep.
Well, Chuck, thanks a whole bunch for hanging in here with us. Please record those settings, and we'll talk with you next time. Have a great rest of the week there. See you down the electric bill.
Yeah, thanks for joining us in here tonight, Chuck. It's been good fun. And mark your calendar. Sunday, same sort of time frame, 6:30-ish on 3650 kilohertz. And a lot of the gang that was here should be there. And then hopefully we can add Wayne into that mix because he's tuned up and ready to go. And I know he wants to do it. And even CVJ will be on, should be on 80 meters on Sunday night. So that will be interesting. Good to have you, Chuck. Always fun, always appreciated. And we'll see you Sunday morning. And then hopefully we'll talk to you Sunday night. And yeah, I think I'm going to clear out of here myself and call it a night. All good fun playing radio. Makes me happy. Got to renew my license in 4 or 5 months. I got to keep that in mind. I ain't letting it go. K3XU, W2VW from AA3 Radio Energy.
Alrighty, well, it's been fun, and can't believe those guys ditched us. We're gonna have to write them up, send in a formal complaint. It's been fun. Thanks for helping me break in this newly configured pile of aluminum crap. I'm glad it's still working. It got blown around and it's still together. So good night and good luck. AA3RE, this is W2 Very Weak, beaming Europe.
All right, good fun, Dave. Thanks for everything. I always enjoy your company. AA3RE 73.
All right, I'm going to be listening again on 1885 for Steve. We'll see what happens. See you later, guys. K3XU Clear.